Hello, welcome to Longman Tarot. Sorry for the delay. I've had a few technical difficulties, so I'm hoping you can hear me, and I'm hoping that's all working. I know the camera's working. Please let me know if that's the case. You can hear me. That'd be lovely. Welcome to the last Longman Tarot Live of 2023. Where has the year gone? I don't know. It seemed to spend a lot of time in stone circles and in woodland, which is always a good way to start the year, isn't it? And spend the year. So that's lovely. I'm just going to catch up and just check to see that people can hear me loud and clear. Thank you. Unfortunately, I set up two cameras to do a face down to look at all the decks today. That's not working at all. So you're going to have me holding cards up, but it will go in and out of focus slightly, so just be prepared for that one, and hope it doesn't make you feel too nauseous. I'll try and keep as still as I can. Let's say hello to some people. Sandra, my lovely, good to see you here. I'm hoping you all had a wonderful Christmas, a fantastic holiday, however it was spent. Lovely to see you all here and to spend, as I say, the last one of the year with you. Redwing, hello to you. Beth, hello to you, my lovely. Good to see you here. And oh, Sandra, I'm just watching your most recent video, such a special one. I watched that today. Absolutely lovely. I do recommend popping onto Spirit of Avalon to have a look at Sandra's wonderful videos there. Maruta is here. Hello, my dear. Good to see you here. Kathy, good evening to you. Who else is here? So it's a bit... Emma, hello, my dear. Hope you are very well. And Chris, hello to you. I hope you have had a good day. Anyone else here? Elspeth, good evening to you. And hello to Patrice as well. Hello to all of you. Lovely to spend this time with you. Thank you. We're getting the messages now. You can hear me fine. Sound is great. Greetings, darlings. Hello, Ramon. Good to see you here. I hope you had a good holiday season there. Patrice is grooming the pups. I can't chat. Love to you, Richie, and love to the Tarot fam. Great. And Ellie is here. Hello, Tarot Diva. Ellie, my dear. Good to see you here. So nice to spend the time with you. Indeed, Happy New Year to you as well there, Nancy. Good to see you there. And I hope everybody else is well. Regina, my dear, your work lurking as usual. Good to see you here. Lots of lovely people here. Red Wing says hi to all I've missed. I've been moving around. We've all been moving around. It's that kind of time of the year, isn't it? We're all just organizing and trying to do bits. So welcome. And hello if you're watching this on catch up, playback, whatever we call it. And if you're just watching it, not commenting, it's lovely to have you here. So what I thought I would do, because there's a lot of videos out there of the decks of 2023 that people have been working with. And I suppose I've called them top decks of 2023 because that's what I called it before I put all the decks together. And then I'm thinking perhaps that might be a little bit misleading because some of them aren't top decks. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. So I suppose we should really call this decks of 2023, some of which are top decks and some of them aren't. But I thought I would show you the decks that I have. Some of them I've amassed this year that were published this year. I've obviously bought some more that were published in the past, but I wanted to just focus on 2023 and to kind of whittle down why I don't use some of the decks and to look at some of my favorites as well. So no surprises for some of you here if you have been following me and watching some of the lives we're doing. 2023, Nancy, was indeed a mixed bag. Yeah. I'm going to call it the year of the bling decks because when you start to have a look at them, you will see what I mean by that one there. Now, because of the setup of the camera, I'm not going to show you every single card and every single deck. That's just going to be a nightmare. But I'm going to show you some. And if you would like to see any specific cards from the deck, then please let me know. So where do we start? Let's start with perhaps my latest acquisition, which just squeezed into 2023. And I'm going to show it because I simply haven't worked with it. But I was lucky enough to be gifted the new Bonefire. There it is, focusing, by Peter. Oh, it's upside down, isn't it? There we go. That's not helpful. The Bonefire Tarot, second edition, borderless. I literally took it out of its wrappings today, and I thought I'm just going to mention it, going to talk about it, because I haven't had time to work with it. But my first impressions of this is that it's phenomenal, and the book in it is amazing. I'm just going to quickly read a few pages in that, and then half an hour later I was really absorbed, so I put it aside. I don't know how this compares to the original Bonefire, but I know that it's a borderless edition. I'm not going to show all the cards, like I said. There we go. Wait for the camera to find it. But you can see it's just a trimmed down, smaller version of the original Bonefire. It's got red edging, absolutely lovely, gorgeous. I'm very much looking forward to using this. It's fiery, this deck. That was the impression that I got from it. It is very, very fiery, very, very high energy, and it's going to be amazing for some of those fire festivals that we love to celebrate. Bonefire is out. Yeah, it will. Apparently it is. I think it just came out a few weeks ago. I would recommend it. Obviously purchase responsibly and all that stuff there, but that is the second edition there. So I just wanted to touch on that one because it just made it in. I will probably be doing a full review of that one later on when I've had a kind of got to know it. Yeah, the UK. Oh, the UK've got it earlier. Oh, that's interesting. Normally it's been the other way around, and I'm going to talk about that a bit more later on. So that's the Bonefire. I'm just going to take a little sip of water. Thank you, Beth. Thumbs up, peeps. How lovely. It's really nice to be doing this as a roundup of the year. And then, as I say, I'll talk about what's happening next week. Yeah, Gerald has got it. Yeah, so I don't know. No, yeah, he's had it a few weeks, actually, Gerald. In fact, it was Gerald's copy I saw that I thought, I need to get that one there. So it is around there. Gerald has got the clout, absolutely. So where should we start? So this is in no particular order, but I just wanted to show you some of the decks that are a little bit not disappointing. I just haven't used them. And as I said, it is the year of the bling. The first one I'm going for is the Epigraphic Tarot. Look at this box. Now, this was a Kickstarter, as most of these decks are. Look at the bling on that one. It matches the Christmas tree. In fact, the camera's having trouble with that big blue sapphire in the middle. It's made by Vermilion. They are the people that bought us the Broken Mirror. I don't think this deck is going to look very good on the face-up camera because, as with most of the Broken Mirror decks, the artwork is incredibly small. Now, excuse me, what I am going to say is if the decks that I show you are in order, that's because I probably haven't used them. I haven't put any of these decks back into order. So it's a little bit of an indicator of how much use they've had this year. If I can literally start with the Fool and go right the way through to, I don't know, the King of Swords or something like that. Anyway, I'm going to show you a few of these. These are very much, and this is a Broken Mirror that I hadn't even... I think I looked at. There's a reason why. I think it arrived at a time when I was busy or something was happening, and it just went on the shelf and got forgotten. It's a lovely deck. It's really nice cardstock. It's just not that exciting when you compare it to other of my Broken Mirror decks. And if you were around for the last live when I showed you the lenticular one, you know what I mean by that. It's a nice addition, but for me, it doesn't really add that much to it. I quite like some of the artwork. I quite like some of the colors. It's a bit more muted than some of the other versions that I've got of Broken Mirror. But I have to say the artwork is very different from some of the versions 4 and 5. Let's skip a few. The Hermit, as always, is a gorgeous card. Hanged Man. Perhaps I should just show like the same cards from each deck. Hanged Man there. Death. Now, Death is interesting because it's just this person opening this door onto daylight there. So they're coming through the night. You walk through the doorway, the portal, into a new realm. Love it. Let me show you some of the. Ooh, I do like the moon cards in the Broken Mirror because they really do indicate what the deck is about. That kind of shattered mosaic kind of thing. Let's show you some of the minors. We do have a few extra cards in here. Dream. Never quite know what I would actually do with those, so I do tend to just take them straight out of the deck and not use them. So we have the Ace of Wands. And the actual, on this deck, and I don't know if the camera can see, they've actually color-coded the suits there, so they're in these nice pastel-y colors. With different themes, the actual artwork looks like it's been done by different artists for each of the suits. So the wands are very traditional Broken Mirror style. But if I find some of the swords look a bit more space agey. They're a bit more characters without faces. So there's a really different feel to them. I hope you're getting it. Sorry about the moving camera. It's about the best I could manage, but there we go. Let's look at some cups. I like the fact they've got really big titles on these cards because, again, the Vermilion is very good at hiding them. And in fact, the lenticular ones, you've actually got to do counting of the cards and the. So there we go. Oh, there we go. Beth put up the Bonefire details for Amazon. So there we go. That was, I'll show you the backs. I suppose those are the backs of the epigraphic. It's one that goes in the collection. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to start using it. I'm not. It's going to go in there. Nice book. Well, the usual saga. I got attracted to the bling, to be brutally honest. Certainly on the next few as well. So you'll notice that it was the bling that got me, and the actual quality of the card might be slightly disappointing. Right, I'm going to do a pile. Let's put that on the floor there so we can get fit. All right, gotcha, says Beth. Oh, you were thinking of Bonestone Earthflesh. Yeah. Yeah, they are a series of artists in there. I think normally what happens, excuse me, one creator or a couple of creators will get together and design the theme of the usual deck. That's why when I've lost count now, for 5th edition, 6th edition came out with 3 different decks, all done by different artists. That one's been done by different artists for each of the suits there. And it makes it feel a little bit disjointed, I have to be honest. That's perhaps another reason why it's not just gelling with me there. Bling is a waste of draw. Which takes me on to the next one. So another lovely deck. Now, this was published this year, the Literary Tarot, and I have done a walkthrough of this one. I can't remember when it came out. This came on Kickstarter. I think I backed it 2 years ago, and they had an enormous amount of trouble getting this deck made, created, printed, shipped. It was nearly a 2.5 year, I believe, start to finish. And I moaned a lot about it because when you're on Kickstarter, you kind of want the thing straight away, which I know is ridiculous, but this one just seemed to take forever. However, when it came, I was bowled over by just how amazing these cards are, and the bling factor is huge. So let me show you the box. It's a nice magnetic one. And actually, what's interesting, they've actually got, it kind of feels like plastic on the inside there. Very blingy. A wonderful book. Now, as the title suggests, the Literary Tarot, each of the cards is going to be based on, whoa, look at that. Each of the cards is going to be based on a famous book. And they did a fantastic job of linking together the meaning of the card with the book itself. So let me show you a few of the cards again. I'm not going to show you all of them, but look at the back. So there is, again, it's a shame the light isn't, but that is all gold on there, and they were edged in gold as well. So again, you can see I daren't shuffle these. They will just scratch up. So I kept them as they are. So they're beautifully colored, but they have a lot of gold. Wait for the camera to try and find it. A lot of gold, additional bits added into it, so you can see why this deck would have taken a long time to produce. And because I don't like keep flicking back into the book to go, right, what book is this character based upon? That's one of the reasons why I haven't used it, because I felt like I needed to have the guidebook quite close at hand. But you can see the foiling in this one is just amazing. This has got my favorite Empress card ever in it, which is the Wife of Bath from Canterbury Tales, which I think is perfect interpretation there of it. I'm going to try and hold it still. The camera is having a nightmare trying to focus on so much shininess. The Emperor is Hercule Poirot. Very cute. Sanchez, I would have liked to have got this one, the Literary Tarot. Yeah, I mean, I love having it. Do I use it? Certainly not. As you can see, it's in order. Would I use it? I'm too frightened of messing it up. I'm too frightened of fouling up the edges. I have done a full walkthrough of this on one of my lives, so if you are interested in have a look, I will have a look for it. It is on one of the lives. I think I did it. I can't remember which one. I love the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde strength. So some of them I think work really well, and I have to say some of them leave me a little bit. I'm not quite sure what the book is. Trying to find. Oh, is that? I like this one. I think it's lost it. Oh, it's a space story. I can't remember. This is the problem there. The Devil is Moby Dick. So I'm going to show you just a few more of these, but you get the idea of how this deck works. Oh, it's one of those decks as well that they changed the title of the cards themselves. So Ink is Swords, I believe. Oh, I might be wrong on that. Might be Wands. It's a long time since I read it. So here you have Scarlet Pimpernel. And just the illustrations are phenomenal. And the King is War of the Worlds. So there's a great variety, absolute great variety of choices that they made. I think that's Little Women. But yes, it took a long time to come, but it is fantastic. You're quite right, Chris. Yeah, I find the theme distracting, but the artistry is incredible. Absolutely, it's really, truly is. But you can see, as I said, how just gorgeous it is. And I spoke to you yesterday, actually, in our live when we were talking. Some decks I just can't shuffle because I know I'm just going to mess them up and destroy them or not keep it. So I think this is just going to be a collector, and I'm going to just keep it in the collection and draw upon it perhaps when I need to, and that's that from there. So excuse me, my voices have gone a bit croaky. Let's have a drink. Okay. Elspeth says, I'm not a fan of decks with different artists. Me neither. The Aliman Tarot, I couldn't work with that one. And I saw there's another one that's come out with which looked phenomenal on Kickstarter. I can't remember what it's called. Again, different artists for each card. No, I can't do that. Can't do that at all. I find it jarring, says Beth. It's like being at dinner table and everyone's talking at the same time. Oh, I love that analogy. That's amazing. Yeah. It also takes away my belief in its authority as a coherent device. You're absolutely spot on with that one. Yeah. Red Wing says, I'm not keen on the bling. Too many years working on Prato. Oh, no, you haven't. I don't mind the multiple creators in the 78 Animal Tower. Yes. Yeah. And Beth says, I'm a woman who loves a good mat myself. And Nancy says, I aspire to be the wife of Bath, and so do I. So there we go. Brilliant. That one isn't bad, Maruta. Still, I don't reach for it though. Oh, the Animal Tower. Give it to my little granddaughter. I'm sure she'll love it. Yes. Lovely. Great. So that's 2 down. Now, where do we go next? Let's go for another blingy one. Now, I have no idea why I bought this next deck. Witchy Magic Tarot. I think back to when I started this channel many years ago, and my tarot collection was dark, quite dominant masculine, I would say. Yeah, very, not very colourful. Let's just put it that. I moved away from the unicorns and the sparkles, and yet, a few years later, this deck comes along, which is all of that. I thought it would just be quite a nice deck to have in my collection for times when I need to just do a little bit of light reading. And it's very much like the Desney deck, if you remember that from last year. It's lovely linen cardstock, nice blingy silver edges. There's the backs of them. But I've never used it, and I have used it a couple of times, and I find it really difficult to read with, and I don't know whether it's just the illustrations. I mean, I love the borderless, or the fact it goes past the border. I actually really like the art style. Let's see if we can get that zoomed in a bit. I like the interpretation of it, but I just can't. There's just something about it. I'm on camera. No, okay. Too dark, some of these cards for it to pick up. Queen of Swords. So, yeah, it has been used because I have shuffled it. But I actually forgot I had this year. I forgot it was on my shelves. Even the Three of Swords is quite likable, which you don't often say. It is very cartoonish, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it was something just to add into my collection for the time when I would ever use it. And it partners up really nicely with some of the Oracle decks that I've got. Perhaps I should next year try it, work with it a bit more. It reminds me a little bit of what's the one with the other one that was about books? I can't think of that one. Sometimes we need to do some whimsy. Absolutely. I have to remind myself of that. I just have to decks like Darkness of. Well, it's interesting just as well doing readings with people online, talking to other people, looking at other people's collections, and just going, perhaps I might just need that one in there. The Strength card's pretty cool. Hopefully that will focus on it. It's quite twee, but there's nothing wrong with that. And, as Beth suggests, we need some of that in our lives occasionally, because it is a very nice deck. Even the Five of Swords, it's got a nice connotation to it all. I mean, just look at the Empress. I mean, that is so not what I came in with my collection a few years ago with. It hasn't got any gold embossing on it, but it does look like it has. Last one, I'll show you the Hanged Man, which is an angel. It looks like she's on a kind of trapeze, really. I'm going to put that away because, yeah, we're not here to. As I said, there's a reason it's sat on the deck on my shelves and didn't get picked up. And perhaps next year I will either go through them, perhaps get rid of some, or perhaps start using some of them. That might be nice. So put that to one side. It's too cartoony, says Nancy. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think with, I've said this before, so with Kickstarters, I'm not very good. I'm instantly gone, I quite like that, or I quite like that, or that's an artist I've got used and seen before, and I go with it. And I don't delve too deeply into the artwork. I look at a few of the images and not all of them. And before you know it, I'm clicking on buy without having thought it through. So perhaps that's a lesson for me then. Sandra agrees with you, Beth, that you need a little bit of whimsy. And Kathy says, I don't think I've heard of this one before. Beth says, I wonder how that would read with clients. I bet some people would really love it for their readings. You've, again, hit the nail on the head there, because that's the reason I bought it. A lot of the decks that I have, as I said, it's quite dark, quite masculine, often have a bit of a sexual content in there. And I didn't feel that I had, apart from my sort of RWS original sort of facsimiles and clones, I didn't have anything that I felt was that I could take to a general reading and feel safe and feel happy and be able to do it. And I remember at the time thinking that would be a really handy deck to have to do readings with. Now, of course, for me to then take it on and go to do a reading for somebody, perhaps a face-to-face reading like I've done, I'd actually have to start using the deck and get a bit more familiar with it. And I think I did use it on one of the long stashes. And I remember I just had trouble reading with it. So I put it away after a couple of readings and moved on to a deck that I felt more drawn to. So it's kind of suffered by me not putting the energy and the effort into it, I think. Yeah, absolutely. It's very Disney. Let's face it, we all just want to buy stuff and enjoy the art, but we justify by how it reads and what it costs. You've hit again the nail on the head. Absolutely. Yes, so I'm just having a bit of a declutter. Absolutely. And agreed, sometimes we just need some tree in our life. I recently picked up the Disney Villains Tarot. I don't even like Disney, but it was calling me for some reason. And again, that is a deck that I sometimes see, or it comes up on eBay. I go, shall I? And I go, Richard, do you know if they're going to use it? And I've hopefully broken that kind of FOMO, that kind of having to bid on things because I don't want to miss out. I just felt that that was the case there. Hi, Simon. Good to see you here. Hope you're very well. Hope you had a good Christmas. Lovely to see you. And Robin is here as well. Hello, Robin. I hope you had a good season as well, holiday season. Great to see you here. Excuse me. Beth says, I got the good tarot and I put the blame squarely on the Supreme Court and their shenanigans. Hello to anyone else that's joined. Sorry if I've missed you. Very welcome. Good to see you here. So there were a few that I kind of bought and, as I said, came out this year and haven't really used. And this theme then continued for a little bit longer. So I'm now going to show you this one. So I'm going to put up a little bit of a warning. It's not nudity, but it is near as damn to it. And this was on my radar for most of last year and actually came into being this year. And it's one of St. Jinx. If you don't know St. Jinx, he's an incredible graphic illustrator, but he does very much focus on the male physique, the gay male physique, I'm going to say, and likes to draw everything about them. Let's just leave it at that. He's done several Oracle decks. He's done one tarot deck, and he brought out this one, which is called The Reclaimed Earth. Now, very wisely, he brought out two versions: the one where the men have got their pants on, basically, and the ones where they haven't. So I'm going to show you the ones that are clothed. But even so, having said that, it doesn't hold back much. So yeah, we'll have a look at those ones. These are all a bit mixed up. Now, I have done some readings. This arrived May or June, and I did do some readings, and actually I got quite a lot of clarity out of this one. Cardstock is rubbish, absolutely rubbish. But the idea behind this deck is we're talking about a planet that has had a war in the future. So everything's very scientific. It's very, what's cyberpunk is the correct term, I think it is. Let's call it gay cyberpunk of the future. Let's face it, that's a very small genre when it comes to tarot cards. I can't think of many more that are coming out like that. But I actually watched the creation of this deck, and I actually really liked the theories behind it. Also, like I said, there is a bit of nudity in there, but not as much as if I had showed you the other one there. But I actually got a lot of, by looking at this deck, I actually got a lot from looking at the images on it. So, for example, it's a bit Blade Runner-ish, this. So there's quite often a lot of projections of things coming up. So here's the Hierophant. And there's so much detail in this, which refers back to the original Pamela Coleman Smith designs. It's incredible. It is really, really detailed. So, for example, the Three of Swords is set outside a tattoo parlor of the future. You can see somebody's having the Pamela Coleman Smith original heart tattooed on, and it's on the window there. But again, there's just so much extra details when you start looking into it. You kind of have to look past the body beautiful. This is another one, the Wheel of Fortune. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's these neon signs, and it's called Anubis. So you have the characters around the wheel there. In fact, if you have a look up here, let's try and get this right. We have the face, the eagle, the bull, and what's the other one? The lion, isn't it? And they are all represented in that design. You just got to go looking for them. So I really like the cleverness of it all. I'm going to show you some more. The Sun card is lovely. It's just a little bit dark. But what it shows is that he really knows his stuff when it comes to Pamela Coleman Smith's original artwork. This is the one I think is amazing, the Nine of Swords. And this is a character, again, nudity or semi-nudity. But he's in this kind of water bath. And there's lots of computer programs running. He's wired up to it. And you can see his brain is being monitored in the background there. All his details are being written up on the screen in sort of virtual reality. And you can see that his expression on his face is that this is a thing of nightmares that's going on there. It's almost like he's having his brain wiped in many ways. Again, just quite a fascinating take on the deck. And of course, I bought both versions. I'm not showing you the other one. But yeah, it's pretty much the same images, but just with their undergarments off, let's just put it that way. And again, that is not something, I mean, I can't use it. Where would you ever take a deck like that and use it? It stayed firmly in its box, in the bottom of a drawer, never to see the daylight again. Yeah. Right, let's catch up where we got to. Excuse me. Oh, lots of people coming in. Candy's here. Hello, Candy. Happy New Year to you in advance. Lots of chatting going. Okay, let's get back to that one there. Everyone's saying hello to Candy. Yeah, no, you're getting there. You have answered that one. Nancy says, wonder why we warn about nudity, not about Disney Art of Violence, vampire or zombie decks. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I suppose I've always taken that off other people's channels. I've always tried to set the settings on my channel so that they're 18 or over. It's just a thing that I tend to do, and I know if there's decks that are coming up with images that people may find sets them off or has triggers or something like that, and I tend to warn people. Something I was always gone for. Looks like it might be pants. Yes. Beth says, if I may ask, where is Taurus in your chart? Do you know by any chance? Well, I am a Taurus. 12th of May is my birthday. So I can't, yeah, it's there. So yeah. And moon sign Sagittarius. So there we go. Chris says he's loving this. I thought you might, Chris. And Robin says, I'm finding the further I go, oh my goodness, it's different. I'm finding the farther on I go with study, I can read with more and more depth. Sometimes, despite the artwork, I go with the system over the imagery. Imagery can add extra layers of depth. That's actually very true of that deck I've just shown you. Yeah. It has those elements of, oh, that's clever. That's a really good rethinking. Or, yeah, I can see that working. Or, yeah, that's added some extra understanding to the original one. But working with that deck is obviously very different to working with some of the other ones I've done. Interesting. But it's not one to put away and forget about. I think I will try and start to use that one, but it will be the fully clothed one. I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Three of Swords is good. Yeah, there's some real gems in there. Don't you know sexuality is taboo to this Puritan country? Then how come there's so many of you? Speaking of nudity, has anyone checked out Saltburn on Prime? No, I haven't. And talking of nudity, hi Gerald. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you had a great Christmas period there. So I wasn't suggesting, Gerald, you were naked, but there we go. Came in just at the right time there. No, but so I'm just going to be watching it as you recommended it. Everyone's saying, Gerald, Chris says, hello. Great to see you here. Oh, you're sewing. Brilliant. Fantastic work. If you haven't checked out Gerald's artwork, his fabric art that he's doing on Facebook, do go and have a look at his channel. It's amazing. It's stunning. Not a film I'd recommend, but desperate for others to sit and hear the review. Well, when I've got a moment, I will have a look at it. And here's Kristen Louise as well. Hello, Kristen. Good to see you here. I hope you are really well. I finally caved in and bought the Jurofsky book. Oh, I don't know very much about that. You had to give me some more details about that. Yeah, exactly. Really are a Taurus. Absolutely. Straight to the line. I have all the Taurian traits. I couldn't be more Taurian if I tried. Right, so then that's getting to the end of stuff that I'm warming to. I suppose whilst we're on it, not linked to it, but again, this does have a bit of nudity in it. It's the new Rosario Salona, the new voice tarot. And I'm quite disappointed that I haven't used this. And the reason I haven't used it is it's too big. It's absolutely far too big for me to work with. So I'm kind of hoping that at some point there will be a smaller version of this one. I had no idea when it arrived how big it was going to be. Again, didn't read the descriptions in Kickstarter. It wasn't Kickstarter, it was the other one, wasn't it? Yeah. But the artwork's stunning. And I was looking through it this afternoon going, oh my God, I absolutely love it. And I just want to use it, but it's just too big to shuffle. And I know, Simon, you did your top decks of the year and this featured in there. Oh, you're on a break to the second. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, me too. the famous Lovers. I love the Strength card in it. What I like about this deck is you can tell that Rosario Ross really knows these people and it's been drawn from life. You can tell, and that was said in a lot of the information that was sent out about the deck, is that he's drawn it from models and people, his friends and associates, and that really and the colors are just wonderful. Sorry, my finger is over all the titles there. Oh, and the Death card is again one of my favorites on here. Forward through a few of them. Oh, the Sun card again, stunning. The Death card is amazing. Yeah, so if there was a smaller version of it, I think I would use it all the time. And the Two of Wands is interesting because that was on the cover of a magazine, Tarot Oracle, and that's what attracted me into buying the magazine and looking at it. Christina Reed says, I just got the Ritual Tarot for you. It's huge, but I'm going to deal with it because I love it so much. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be a different way of shuffling it, isn't it? And again, perhaps I need to think about using this one. Perhaps 2024 is the year of actually using some of the decks I bought this year. I'm so envious of people who can shuffle, but not about being able to, but not being able to means I'm not too disturbed by the deck size. So there we are. So that's that, sorry. Yeah. But that's certainly one of my top decks of the year, I have to be honest, even though I haven't used it. I remember being really bowled away when I unboxed it. Total Tarot Robbins, is anyone still buying Total Tarot magazine? I haven't seen any reviews in a while. I don't know. I didn't sign up for it. I only bought the first few that were in the, actually more than a few, the few that was in the shops, and then I decided I wasn't going to. The Three of Swords. It's done with pencil, I think. I think it's done with pencil, or at least it's got pencil or some form of pastel. And the colours are just so beautiful in there. Corner shuffling. Yeah, can't really do that. I'm not the best at that one there. Five of Swords. Right, so let's stop at that one because we'll be here all. I've still got loads to get through. Using the decks that you bought this year. That's crazy talk. Yeah, well, you're going to see. I'm going to explain in a minute, actually, what the problem was as to why most of these decks didn't get you. Not what the problem was, what happened, what came along that stopped me using all these decks. And you will understand, my friend, as soon as I get to my top two decks of the year. Right, a quick mention goes to an oracle, the Starseeker Oracle. This is the partner to, obviously, the Starseeker Tarot. Now, this was one of the first decks that I bought. The tarot was the first one that I bought when I started my channel up, and it's, you know, a lot of people are very familiar with the lovely illustrations of this deck, and it is one that I've used. I haven't used it that much when I'm doing readings for other people. It tends to be just for me, because I find the pictures and the illustrations beautiful, but quite they need time for me to work with them, to focus them, to instigate with them, to actually do the reading with. I can't do quite quick readings with those ones. They're very, very calm, and to do a bit like an old photograph sometimes takes time to develop. It has that quality, a bit like a Polaroid camera, if you remember those ones there. So I bought the Oracle just to see whether that would do something to my readings. And actually, I have used it a few times, and it fits beautifully. Same size, same style. Just one keyword on there. And this is an Oracle deck that I would like to use more. Although we have got things like time travel on there, there's some of these where you really have to use the guidebook to actually understand what the images are. But I thought I'd quickly show you this. That's stuck. Discipline. Kathy says, Nancy, thank you for saying that. I thought I was the only one here who couldn't shuffle. And Robin has been pulled towards Pip decks. Joe says, I love Pip decks. We should form a support group. Kristen says, I suck at reading with Pip decks. I wish I could, but it doesn't seem to want to stick in my head. I do that awful thing of just going, okay, let's think, okay, what does the Six of Cups look like on the RWS, and go with that one. You might as well just go an RWS deck there, mightn't you? So there we go. Oh, I was going to show you this actually. This last one is gorgeous. Immense. I just love that silhouette there and the colours. So that was the Starseeker Oracle. Came out this year again, Kickstarter. There it is, focusing. I believe all of these decks are available or will be available at some point. So there we go. Right, before we actually get onto the stuff that I've enjoyed using and used a lot this year, I'm just going to catch up with people and have a little drink. I'm decluttering any Pip decks I have, including Total Tarot decks that are Pips. I'm only going to keep the New Choice and the Marshmallow. I don't have that many Marseilles. I've got the New Choice Marseille, and I'd keep that, but it's not meant. I wouldn't buy a Marseille deck anymore. Says Cosmic Orphan says he would do a video on reading Pips soon. That's good. And Elspeth says, I'm getting better with Pips. It's going to be my mission this year. Oh, good luck with that. I'd love to know how you get on. Robin says, I'm too much in head translating of Pips into RWS imagery. Yeah, I need to find a way to do it more comfortably numerologically. Hello, Astrological Tarot. Best chatters. Good to see you here. I hope you are very, very well. Right. One more swig. Let's get on to the decks. We've got 1, 2, 3, and an Oracle deck. Now, this is a deck that I bought on Kickstarter. It's called The Animal Spirits of Sacred Isles by Lynn Thurman. And I love Lynn Thurman's work. she did the Wisdom of the Depths Tarot, which is a really quirky kind of Victoriana, seaside-y, collage deck. And it's fantastic. And I use it in the summer months quite a lot. So I was really excited when this came up on Kickstarter. 80 deck Oracle deck of obviously Animals of the Sacred Isles. And the reason I bought this, and please do not be offended by this one, it really has the animals of the British Isles, which I feel very drawn to. What puts me off sometimes is I'll get an animal from a different country, particularly if it's an American deck that's being published, and I'm going, I don't know what a cardinal is. I've never seen a cardinal. I know it's a Christmas bird, but it breaks my connection with the deck, or something like a raccoon or something like that in there. Again, no disrespect to the animals of the world there. So I was really pleased to be getting a deck that had just British Isles animals, and ones that some of which are extinct, but most of which are still around. And it's done this really beautiful, really kind of like an old master or old-fashioned painting, but it has obviously electronic. It feels quite Victorian, actually, in the way it's done. And it really does cover every single animal I can think of in the UK, plus the backgrounds. I'm sorry about the jumping camera again. As I said, we had technical issues at the start, but the backgrounds are really good. So we've got Whitby Abbey here, which is the Abbey in Dracula. And of course, that goes with the bat. Now, of course, the only problem is that as an Oracle deck, it's just got the name of the bird or the animal or the insect there, and no other keywords. And it does come with a book. No, sorry, not even a book. It's a little leaflet like that, which has just got keywords. And I was a bit like, I wish the keywords had been written actually on the card, because that would have just made my life a little bit easier, because you wouldn't have to keep looking it up. But having said that, having worked with a bit of the course that I'm doing, the Shamanic Journeying course, which is looking at native animals and birds of the UK, it fits in quite nicely with the work that I'm doing. And actually this little memory jogger suggested keywords pamphlet works quite well with it as well. So I've used this Oracle deck in a slightly different way to perhaps how it was intended to be used, but quite often I will be looking at drawing a card for the week, sort of thinking about the energies of that animal, what messages might be coming through. And I do that with the Druid animal deck as well. So I tend to have a token, or should I say totem animal for the week, and work with the energies of that, which works quite nicely there. Right. Okay. Who do we have? Michelle, of course. Hello, Michelle. Chris has got to go. Take care, care of duty. You have yourself a wonderful new year, Chris. Great to see you here. American bothers you more than Australian. No, none of them bother me, but just it. I mean, what I think I'm saying is, you're working with something, and then all of a sudden I go, that doesn't fit in with what I was working with or what I thought with. And for me, the animals in Oracle decks like that have to be reflective of where I live. That's what I'm saying there. Absolutely. Signature pen, great fun. I'm actually thinking of doing that one. I need to find somebody with some nice handwriting, because mine will look absolutely disgusting scrawling all over that one there. I think I've been unsuccessful with animal decks because I can't equate animal behavior. That is really a tricky one to pull off there, Robin. You're absolutely right. even though some humans behave even less well than animals. Absolutely, I like that bit on there. Yeah, that is a tough one, but I, if I'm doing it as a poll for the week, for the energies of the week, or perhaps the energies of a reading, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking that one up. And as I said, I started using the Druid Animal Oracle deck, probably 30 cards in that deck. And it's amazing, just by doing one a week for over a year, I'm pretty much now in tune with the deck. And even though I don't have to be looking it up, I can pick up on the nuances of what's happening with the artwork, and that, yeah, that works for me. Yeah, some humans. Great advice. I've never been able to use pen on cards or trim them. No, I'll eventually get over myself. And Gerald's reminding everyone, please give this a thumbs up. Yeah, most. Most. Yeah, and actually Gerald has spent a lot of his studying writing on cards, which when you start off as a bit, and then you go, well, actually, I'd rather write on them and use them than just put them away and get irritated by them. So yeah, one word, anthropomorphize. There you go. Right. So onto the home straight now. We've got 3 decks. Maruta says, I understand hesitation, Michelle. I haven't done it to decks. They're too precious. Yeah. Yeah. Some of them are like, too nice to ruin. Not ruin, but to cover up them. My husband likes to say, oh, look at the nice dog taking his own human out for a walk. I like that one. Okay. So we're down to the 3. And is there an order to it? Well, there's 2 that's in the top. But coming in very closely is the Book of Shadows. Now, this is Andrea Astid's creation. He was on my channel a few months ago. We had a wonderful, very long conversation about the world that he's created and the story of this deck, and the colors in it. I just keep coming back to it. The colors, the design. And actually, when I sat and thought about it, these are quite Broken Mirror-ish, which you know is one of my favorite decks. I've mentioned it tonight already. It has that element of artwork that's been broken pieces in many ways, but also incredibly colorful, like stained glass. And I have done quite a few readings. This is a joyous deck. There isn't anything to worry about with this deck. Life is great. The characters in it are quirky. They're fun, slightly strange. It takes you out your mundane. And there's a whole backstory where he invented a world that where this deck came from, The Alchemist. I just like the angles. I like the childlike quality of this one. Oh, thank you, Nancy. It's a fabulous chat with Andrea on your channel. One of my favorites. But again, the colors, just phenomenal. And with this one as well, it feels like you could stop and have a conversation with these characters, which I don't often get from most tarot decks. So, for example, this magician here is just asking you to stop by and spend some time looking at his table while he performs a trick or robs you of your money, playing, doing the 3 cups and the ball routine. And I just like the fact it draws on a lot of different mythologies as well. Very glossy cardstock, though. It's a bit of a nightmare to work with on camera. The Book of Shadows, yeah. Yeah, Book of Shadows, Alchemist story. That's what it is. And if you go onto Andrea Esti's website, you can buy it from there. Plus, there's other Oracle decks. Plus, he did, is it the Night and Day Tarot? Is that what it's called? Or if you like, Kathy, go and find it on my channel, and I put all the links in when he was on there talking about it all. So yeah, so let's have a look a few more while we're here. Oh, let's look at this Hanged Man. So there we go. So a joy, and doing the live with Andrea, meeting him, having chats with him. He's a lovely man. He's very funny. It was just a joy, a whole joy of the whole year, just working with the deck, reading the book, preparing for the live. And it's just a joy. And that joy still comes through the deck. I think it's still, the energy is joyous, safe, I think is a nice word to use for this. Doesn't want to go back in its box, though, for some reason. Oh, well. I need to get a bag for this one. There we go. Right. Book of Shadows, yeah. Shadow and Night. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Night and Day. I was like, that's not right. But you knew what I was talking about. And again, all this Oracle. There's a new one coming out as well, I believe. Where did we get to? Oh, Michelle says, Gerald, your editing skills on a whole new level. Your whole punch wizardry, where you seamlessly blend images into the cards, is downright captivating. I love seeing your creativity at work. Yes, absolutely. And EZ decks and challenging ones both have their place in tarot. Sometimes one wants a quick read, answers. Other times one needs to sit and ponder the mysteries of the arcana. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe it wants you to read with it. Yeah. Sometimes you get that, isn't it? Sometimes I've had a couple of decks I've just sat there like naughty children going, no, I don't want to play. No, not yet. And then all of a sudden they go, yeah, okay, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it. Right, so we are down to my top 2 decks of the year. One is a little bit fraudulent, so I'm going to do that one first. And it probably comes as absolutely no surprise, this one. The reason it's slightly fraudulent is it came into my possession late December 2021. So officially speaking, it's not a deck of 2023. However, I have included it because it's not been out of my hand in 2023. And I only need to show you the backs, and most of you will instantly know that I'm talking about Tarot of Oneness. And I have used it most lives. I've used it certainly most of my long stash readings and any other readings, any other channel I've been on. I've put this back in order. I recently took it and did my live readings that I did back in November. It read beautifully for people. It's such a reliable, beautiful deck, and a joy to absolute work with. So I had to include it because this deck is the reason why most of the other decks that I've been talking about haven't been read with, because this is the one I have been favoring. So it kind of snuck into 2023, even though it was published last year. I think it arrived about Christmas time, and I wasn't able to get to it or start working with it to January, February time this year. So yes, this is the reason why all the other decks haven't really been read with, because this is my, I'm going to say it's necessarily my soul deck, but it is getting that way. It really is. And its reliability, its ease, it's so many layers in this. Though, of course, comes as no surprise for those. Probably some of you have had me do readings with this deck. So I'm not going to flick through those because it's always out. It's always out on my channel. I'm always reading with it. But I wanted to include that one in here. But however, it's not a 2023 deck per se. I only started, it was, as I said, I think November. It got sent out. So by the time I got it, it would have been December, and it was left for a little while. Interestingly, I've never done a walkthrough video of this that I can think of. I know I do a lot now on lives and do it so often. I put one deck or two decks together, and I don't put them into my other sections of YouTube where I do walkthroughs. But I actually had trouble finding when I actually got this deck. So yeah. Yeah, easy decks. Not going back. Beth says, I always associate this deck with you, Richie. This one, Broken Mirror and the Sacred Oath. There's my top three right there, Beth. You've nailed it. They're the three. Power of Oneness, Broken Mirror, version 5, and the Sacred Rose, yeah. And Kathy says, I keep looking at this one. It's really clever. That's just reminded me, this deck meant so much to me that I actually went and bought a second copy of it, which I've squirreled away somewhere just because I don't ever want to mess up a card and not be able to use it. So I have, it's the only time I've ever bought a spare version of it just so that I could use it. Michelle, I totally agree. Cozy spiritual relief. Yeah. Just looking at a card, I get a sense of kind of perfumes and kind of slightly warm waters, that lovely feel. It's just like a spa. It's wonderful, and it's really lovely to step into that one there. Tower of Oneness and Book of Shadows, just named two of my absolute favorites. Must be your Taurus moon. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And Elspeth says, I love this deck. How have I never seen it before? Oh, well, it's out there. I don't know if it's I'd be very surprised if it was not picked up, actually. For me, this tops the Light Seers, and that's a sweeping statement, but I get more out of this than Light Seers or some of the other decks, modern decks. Tower of Oneness has a pocket edition on Etsy, and Star and Flurry talked about it. Quite well done. Yeah. The cards don't seem that big anyway. I wouldn't want to get a pocket edition of it because these absolutely fit in my hand beautifully. So taking Tower of Oneness out of the equation, we're now on to the last deck, my top deck of 2023. And this came as a real surprise because I knew I wanted this deck. But I didn't think I was going to use it as much as I have done. And it pretty much, I used it all summer and into the autumn as well. And if it hadn't been for some of the autumn winter decks that I've been using, I would have probably carried on using it. And that is the Tarot of the Witch's Garden of Sacha Graham, and art by Natasha Lynch, I'm going to say, but probably ruined that. So do apologize there for not pronouncing that properly. This deck was very late coming to the UK. People in the US had this months before it arrived in the UK, and I'm not sure what the hold-up was. You may remember there was an issue with some of the cards. They had been put in the wrong order, I believe, or something to do with the titles and numbers were the wrong way around. So I think it might have been that they may have gone and redid those ones, but it was a certainly 4 or 5 months after its release in the US that it came to the UK. And I got this in, I remember putting it in on eBay, on Amazon, sorry, and having to wait for updates of it. The book is amazing. I do not read books, but I did sit down and read this over a few evenings and thoroughly loved the easiness and the well thought through way that this book, beautiful book, was written. So I'm going to show you these cards now. When my first deck arrived from Amazon, there was a problem with the back, the laminations. There was a fault with it, so I had to send that back, and so I had to wait. So it's a bit like a deck that kind of eventually got into my presence after a very long period of time. It's actually quite bowed because I've been storing it and using it so much. And for the first time, one of the cards I've actually have bent the corner on it because I've been using it. And I thought, oh, but I think, no, that's wear and tear. That's general wear and tear. And I live with that. And I just love the earthiness, the earth energy that just flows through this deck. For me, it fits really nicely into the Forest of Enchantment deck and some of the Fae decks and other Fae decks like the Victorian Fairy deck that's going to be coming out next year. We will fit together nicely with that. I think the images are beautifully coloured, not oversaturated necessarily. And just, again, not the deck that I thought I would end up with after 3 years. You know, it's quite fairy orientated, but for me, it really speaks of some of the practices, some of the roads, some of the pathways I plan to take or started taking this year and want to carry on next year. Also, I often feel there's a lot of decks out there that are very aimed at the female market, which often I feel as a man sometimes doesn't always inspire me to pick them up. And I was a bit worried that this might be one of them, but I think it is certainly not the case. And I've just read with it, like I said, all summer. It's gone everywhere with me. Can you please show the moon card? I'm going to show you all the cards. So if I haven't gone past the moon card, I'll go back and have another look for you. Another nice thing, they haven't changed the suit, so you haven't got to go trying to translate it in your head. Swords are swords, you know. And if you look at this lovely Hierophant card, the wiseness of that old lady is just wonderful. Two of Cups. I mean, that could be really quite saccharine sweet, and yet it isn't. And it's on the right side of witchiness. I don't really know what I meant by that statement, but I hope that means something to you. It's not going. It does what it says on the tin. It's about the witch's garden and all the elements and all the fantasy and all the energies, all the creatures that you would find in that garden. You know, and sometimes that garden is overgrown, and sometimes the witchy hands got sharp nails and spiders hanging off them, and other times the garden's lush and wonderful. That's real protective, that Seven of Swords. I remember seeing, as soon as I saw the Fool card, I thought, yeah, gonna love this deck. And I remember stepping away from looking at any of the walkthroughs and flip throughs because, as I said, we had to wait such a long time in the UK for this deck that I didn't want to know the images before the actual deck arrived. Eight of Wands, look at that. I'm very surprised this is my number one deck. I'm very pleased it is as well. I don't think we've come to the Moon card yet. It's got to be the last card, hasn't it? It always is. King of Pence. Like how his hand is like turning into a tree. He's got roots coming out and branches. Purchase responsibly, yeah. Yeah, same illustrator did the Compendium of Witches Oracle. And I have tried to use that Oracle deck with this. To no great effect. I can't get on with the Witches Compendium. This is the one I got bent the corner up on. The World card. I even like the World card, which is quite often a card I don't like. I just love that. Sorry, camera focus there. My hands are shaking in its glossy card, so the chance of it completely focusing is small. The Death card is amazing. You don't have it, Sandra? Oh, you're talking about the Witches Oracle. Hi, Kat. Just got home from work. I have to watch this back later. You're very welcome. Good to see you here. I hope you're well. As I said, I'm sorry that the face down camera packed up 5 minutes before going live. Otherwise, you'd see them a bit better. But needs must. Here we come. The Death cards coming up next. This is fantastic. And the Moon card's coming up now as well, Beth. I love the symmetry in here. There. Nearly done. I'm a big fan of the Three of Swords. Fantastic imagery of a betrayal. Yeah. Nine of Cups. That reminds me, I'm just going to jump in here. There's something, if you have the BBC app, download podcasts, there's a fantastic series of very short podcasts, about 15 minutes long, called Mythical Beasts. And it's done by Rhianna Pratchett, who's Terry Pratchett's daughter. And she goes into all the UK's different beasts and mythologies and dragons and black dogs and what was I listening to today? Water spirits. And that card reminded me of it. And I really recommend, if you've got time to listen to a podcast, to go and have a look on that. The BBC podcast app, whatever it's called. Communicating with Crustaceans. Yeah, Witch's Garden. The innocence of that child in the death card brings tears to your eyes. Oh, it could be. It could have been very twee, this deck. And I think some of the decks that may have got like Tower of the Witches, again, goes into the tweeness a bit too far for me, whereas this one just holds it back. And the illustrations are just magnificent. That Empress, I love her. BBC Sounds, yeah, thank you. That's the thing. Spent all day listening to it. Couldn't remember what they called it. I love the way the crown shows up on at least 3 of the cards, maybe 4, yeah. Four of Pentacles. Great image. And last but not least, this is the one that's on the cover as well, the Magician. So that is my recommendation. That's the one. And I think other people, and I've watched other people's videos of their cards or decks of 2023. The Witch's Garden does feature in them as well. So all of the decks, like I said, that I've shown today are available, I believe, apart from some on the early Kickstarters may not be around now. I'm just going to catch up with some of the comments. Communing with crustaceans in the moon. Yeah, BBC Sounds. Yeah, really worth a listen if you've got 15 minutes. Yeah, the Ten of Wands could be a great image to show someone who may be too stubborn for us to help. Yeah. Yeah, or someone who can do it and just needs more self-confidence. Brilliant. But there we go. Interestingly, both of mine are both in Kelly pouches. So it just goes to show that my top 2 decks have been used through the year pretty consistently. And the rest have all stayed in their boxes unshuffled. There we go. But I do now want to, in the new year, think about using a deck for a month. And that's something I'm going to be talking about next week. We are in January. I think it's the 5th of January next Friday. And I'm going to be talking about my plans for 2024, where the channel's going to go. So some changes are coming up. So yeah, I'm excited to be sharing some thoughts with you. And that's next Friday at 7 o'clock over on this channel. So please make sure you've liked and subscribed to it. I think that is everything I have got to do. I'm just going to check comments there. I've tried so many times to use one deck for a month, but epic fail. Yeah, this 2023 has been a year of, for me, setting myself up to trip over or to potentially trip up on the plans and things, which again is something I'll discuss next week. But yeah, I want to set out 2024 for make some changes, which is going to be great, and can't wait to be doing it. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope some of those would be in your choices. I know some of them probably wouldn't be, but it's really nice to get those decks out and have a good look at ones that have been sitting on the desk, and realizing that sometimes you just do meet your dream decks, particularly the Tower of Oneness, and that maybe that will be the deck that you use for most of the year. So other decks have to wait their turn as well. I'm going to wish everyone a lovely 2024. If you are out celebrating, take care. it's been a really wonderful year. Thank you, everybody that supported me over 2023. I wish you a fantastic new year and see you very, very soon next Friday when I talk about the plans for the new year. So up till then, take care and see you next Friday. Bye.